Hey everybody, it's Wendy from the Lexington Senior Center, and I'm here today actually to take you through a few brain exercises. So disclaimer, you're going to have to cut me a little slack if I make some mistakes today because we don't know how good my brain's doing either. I would suggest grab a chair. One of the exercises will be a little bit easier if you're seated. This will be very short, maybe about 5 minutes. You will recognize some of these from class at the center if you were coming on a regular basis. So this is a great way to sort of jumpstart that brain in the morning or maybe in the afternoon after you have lunch. Sit down and run through this little video. We can actually create some new synapses in the brain by doing some of these activities. Just a reminder, we're at the center Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. Give us a call if you need something. If you'd like one of those Dynabands, give me a call. I can mail it out to you or make an appointment for you to stop by and pick one up. The number is 859-278-6072. So let's sit down and work our brain. Okay, so you can do all or some of the exercises. You certainly decide what you want to do. Sit up nice and tall so we've got good blood flow. We're able to take some good breaths while we're doing this. Now we're going to start out working our right arm. We're going to work up and down. And if you notice, I'm sort of tapping my shoulder in between. So it's really up, tap, down, tap. So we're trying to create a little muscle memory here. Also get that little pattern sort of imprinted in our brain, put in our little file cabinet there. Because at one point, we're going to want this to sort of work on automatic pilot. Then I'm going to take my left arm. It's going to work upside down. And I am sort of touching that shoulder in between. And that's probably the one you're going to have to think about a little bit more, is the upside down. Maybe one more. And then we're going to put these two together. So I'm going to take that right arm and I'm going to start that up-down pattern. Once I've done it a couple times, refresh my memory, and we'll go this slow to start. I'm going to add that opposite arm in, upside down. So I'm working up, side, down. So my right arm is continuing to work up and down, but my left arm is working upside down. Now at 2 points in our little pattern, they're actually going to be doing the same thing. Don't let that confuse you. So it starts right here. So they both work up at the same time. And then there'll come a point where they both work down at the same time. So I'm going to speed up a little bit. So it's up, side, down. Up, side, down. Both up. Up, side, down. Up, side, down. Both up. Up, side, down. Up, side, down. Good. Roll your shoulders. Now here's a little hint. Don't try to follow me. Okay? What you want to do is think about what you are doing and get that movement going for you. So I am teaching you the movement, but once we start going, you focus more on what you are doing. So we'll just do the opposite. So I'm going to take that left arm and work up and down. Maybe it'll be a lot easier this way. Who knows? Maybe a couple more, so working up and down. We'll relax it. Then we're going to take that right arm. It works up, side, down, up, side, down. Maybe one more. Up, side, down. So we'll go back to the up and down. So working my left arm, I'm working up and down. Maybe a couple more, and then we will add that right arm in, that upside down. And we'll go very slow to start. All right, ready? Here we go. So both are up, side, down, up, side, down. Good. Up, side, down, up, down. We'll go a little faster, so it's up, side, down, up, both up, side, down, up, side, down, up, side, down, up, side, both down. Good, maybe roll your shoulders a little bit. That's a tough one, but you can get better at it, I promise. Wiggle your fingers a little bit. So we're going to count from 1 to 5 with our fingers. Yours don't have to match exactly like mine, but yours need to do the same thing every time that you choose to do. I have some people in class that like to start at their pinky and work up. I always start at the index finger. But we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, one more time. So just trying to spread those fingers apart a little bit. This will help if you have arthritis in your hands as well. And maybe give them a little shake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my right hand, I'm going to count up, but I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to count down. And we're going to try to do this at the same time. So it's 1 and 5, 4 and 2, 3 and 3, 2 and 4, 1 and 5. So I'm counting down with one hand, up with the other, and I'm trying to work at the same time. Right? So 1 and 5, 4 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 2, 5 and 1, 4 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 2, 5 and 1. So we're just counting up with one hand as we count down with the other. Nice and easy. Up with one hand as we come down with the other. So 1 and 5, 4 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 2, 5 and 1, 4 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 2, 5 and 1. Good. Maybe give those hands a little shake. So that's something you can practice. Then we'll move on to the hands and the feet. So I'm going to take my toes and I'm going to work out in with them. So sometimes you look pigeon-toed, sometimes you look duck-toed. The knees sort of follow the toes. I'm sort of tapping up and down as well. And then we'll stop the feet. We're going to take our hands. They're going to work in and out. So just like the feet did. So my fingertips are in at one point and then out at one point. Then we're going to put these together. So both are going to go out. Both are going to go in. Out and in. And then we'll go a little bit faster. So I'm working out in. Both the toes and the fingers are out at the same time and in at the same time. Sitting up nice and tall so we get that oxygen going. We need it in our brain. All right, let's stop. Let's do opposites. So when the toes are in, my hands are out. When the toes go out, the hands come in. So they're working opposite of one another. Once you've got it a little bit, then pick up your pace. And then I don't want you to assume you are doing it correctly. All right, you want to stop and see every once in a while if they are still saying opposite of one another. Because what typically happens in class, I look and then all of a sudden they're doing the same thing. We want it to be opposite of each other. So when the toes are in, the fingers are out and vice versa. All right, wiggle your toes a little bit, shake those hands. So now what I want you to do is I want you to pretend you're catching fireflies. And they're out in front of you, or lightning bugs, depending on where you grew up. They're either fireflies or lightning bugs. And I don't want you to squish them, okay? So you're not going to squeeze real tight. I'm just sort of grabbing it, pulling it into my hand, grabbing it, pulling it into my hand, alternating my hands. And then I want you to flick water off of your fingers at me. Flick water, flick water, flick water. And I'm spreading those fingers apart. So let's go back to catching fireflies, pulling in. And this is another exercise that is really good for your fingers, the wrists, strengthen the forearms, and then flick, flick. But it's also very good for your brain because you know what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to grab fireflies with one hand. So I'm getting that right hand going. And I'm going to try to flick water off that left hand. But what we want to do is do it at the exact same time. The exact same time. I'm grabbing fireflies with one hand while I'm flicking water with the other. Oh, there I went. So I'm grabbing and flicking, but I'm trying to do it at the exact same time. And I can tell you why I made that mistake. My mind started wandering for a second. You really have to focus. Let's try it the opposite. So I'm going to flick with the right hand, but I'm going to grab the fireflies with the left hand. But I want to try to do it at the exact same moment. Think about it, check yourself, see if you've got that going on, because a lot of times what will happen is we'll flick and then we'll grab. They're not going at the same time. The other thing that will happen a lot of times is you'll start looking and then your hands are doing the same thing. So we want to flick right, grab left, and we want to try to do that at the exact same time. It's much harder than you think it's going to be. Good. Shake out those hands. Roll your shoulders a little bit. Some other activities that you can do to sort of jumpstart your brain, create some synapses in your brain. Brush your teeth with the opposite hand in the morning. If you're right-handed or left-handed, just switch it. Switch that toothbrush to the other side. You can also sit down maybe while you're having your coffee and practice writing your name with the opposite hand that you typically use. Comb your hair with the opposite hand. Use that fork in the opposite hand when you eat your lunch. And I have found, for me, that's a great way for me to eat less because it takes me longer to eat. I'm not used to it. Try to drink lots of water, all right? That will help keep that brain activity where it needs to be. Coffee doesn't count, soft drinks, tea don't count. You need to really try to drink water and watch that you're not dehydrated, okay? I hope you'll check out some of our other videos on YouTube and Facebook. And I have just one thing to say to finish. I sure do miss you.